Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I recently got a pair of loafers widened by my local cobblers, and I kind of shared some snippets of it with you over on my Instagram. And I think one of you wrote, like, quote unquote, that a cobbler is like a hero without a cape, or not all everyday heroes wear capes, or something in that direction. And I completely agree. That cobbler has saved my life so many times. I've gotten my boots and some of my favorite shoes resold by him. And yeah, recently he made a pair of shoes that were just too tight for me to wear, a bit wider, so now I can wear them all I want, which I think is amazing. I seriously think that if I were to do something completely different with my life, looking into the whole cobbler business is something I totally see myself doing. Anyway, there's lots of things you can do to elongate the life of your favorite wardrobe items, and as many of you know, the most sustainable thing you can do is to work with what you already have. I do have a whole other video and a blog post with 10 of my best tips on how to caring for your wardrobe in general, both to make them last longer, but also to have a more sustainable mindset when it comes to laundry routines, things like that. So if you want to read that post or see that video, I will link both of those down below. So this video will be more of a mending type of video, so just some final things you can do to elongate the life of your favorite clothes. First of all, before moving into the actual tips, I just want to say that this whole thing is also about a mindset, and a mindset that we can work on becoming better at as consumers. We need to learn to love our garments even when they're in the washing bin and not just fresh from the box, because nothing will stay new forever. Lots of my personal favorite style icons have this very edgy style where it's sort of more than okay. It's actually cool if you have a pair of frayed denims, or if you have a t-shirt with a hole in it, or if some other way the garments that you wear look like they are a bit worn out, still with a balance, but that they're a bit worn out because it kind of shows your surrounding that, hey, I love these items, I wear them all the time, and this is me, this is my style. And I think that is so cool. I feel like these kinds of women remind me that being imperfect is something that can be quite cool, and to embrace the fact that newness is completely unnatural. So I have a Pinterest board, obviously, with a lot of inspiring pictures of all of these cool women with this very just down-to-earth, effortless style that I love so much, and which I think fits perfectly with the topic of today's video. I definitely feel like they empower me to feel like I don't have to be perfect at all times in many other aspects of my life as well, not just fashion. So yes, that was just a few introductional thoughts on this whole topic. So the first tip is blocking out your shoes, like I mentioned in the beginning, or making a pair of shoes wider if they are very narrow. So I bought these loafers from Everlane back in fall, and I've mentioned them before that they were very, very tight. I've done a lot of things to try and widen them myself, and a lot of you guys gave me some tips, and I tried some of them, like stuffing them with a damp sort of fabric, and also like putting them on and then placing a blow dryer on them to kind of make the leather warm, and that should expand them, but nothing really did the trick. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna drop them off by a professional and let him do the job, because he knows way more than me what to do with a pair of shoes like these. So I'm actually not quite sure what my cobbler did, but he asked me, so where is the problem on the shoe? Is it in the back or is it in the front? And it was definitely in the front, because they have this almond toe kind of, so they're very narrow in the front. Now on Everlane's web shop, they do say that you should size up half a size, which I also did. It was not enough at all. You need to definitely size up an entire size if you're thinking about buying these loafers. They're so beautiful, they're beautifully made. My cobbler were like, these look very expensive, I need to be careful with these as well. So they are a great pair of shoes, but the sizing is just way off. So if you're considering buying a pair of these shoes, definitely size up an entire size, because then you can always pop in an insole if they're just slightly too big. Anyway, I dropped them off at the cobblers, left them there for about a week, and then picked them up, and now they fit like a dream. They're definitely much more wide in the toe area, which allows my heel to slide a bit more forward as well. So now they're also a lot more comfortable in the back. So I can definitely recommend that if you have a pair of shoes similar to these, take them to your cobbler's. He knows what he's doing. Let him take care of the job so that you can continue to wear your favorite shoes. So speaking of shoes, I just wanted to mention another thing that you can do, which is resoling your shoes. Now I've done this both whenever I've purchased a pair of boots to kind of prevent them from getting very worn out at the bottom, but I also do it regularly to make my favorite boots and heels, all sorts of shoes, look new again. So a great example are my Acne Jensen boots. A lot of these high-end boots actually have, or shoes in general, actually have a leather sole here in the front and no like extra rubber piece right here to protect the shoes from wearing out and for you to have a more sturdy grip on the ground, which I think is kind of odd when you're paying this much for a pair of boots. I bought mine secondhand, so I got them at a very reasonable price, but I definitely recommend that if you invest in a pair of shoes similar to that with just a leather sole at the front right here, definitely get an extra piece of rubber put on by your cobblers. He also put on a new heel cap on these boots recently, and when I got them back, they seriously look like new. And I've had these for, I think, around 4 years now, and bear in mind that they had a previous owner as well. They still look absolutely amazing, slightly dirty right now, but so that is definitely another thing you can do to elongate the life of your favorite shoes. Just wanted to go get these heels as well because here's another great example of what a cobbler can do. So these are a pair of vintage, almost like dancing shoes, and I actually bought them for my secondhand shop, but I just fell so much in love with them that I cannot bring myself to sell these to anyone because I feel like I want to wear these myself to all the summer parties and yeah, all that. They were very worn out here on the inside, and the original like leather insole had like completely fallen off almost. So he put in a new insole and he picked one out that was silver to match the shoes, which I think is such a nice thought. So that's definitely something else a cobbler can do. I cannot wait to wear these. Maybe even with a all black look like today. Moving on to the third tip that I want to share with you, which is something that comes in handy if your body is changing. So if you're either losing some weight or you're gaining some weight. Could also be if you're becoming pregnant or something like that, which I am not, by the way, just to get that out of the way. So a thing you can do if you're losing weight is to adjust the waistband of your pants and jeans, skirts even, and also to take them in a couple of centimeters down each leg at the side seam. So I have a couple of videos on the subject. I recently did a whole guide on how to get your hands on a pair of affordable vintage Levi's jeans. Often when you get a pair of jeans like that, they don't fit exactly the way that you want, or maybe the fit is a bit outdated. So it's nice to teach yourself a couple of basic mending skills like this so that you can make them fit exactly as you want. So I will link that video guide on how to take in your own jeans if you are losing weight down below. And I've also found a couple of videos that shows how to do it the other way around. So if you're gaining weight and you want to take your jeans and pants out a bit instead of going out and buying all new jeans and pants and skirts, then those videos might be helpful to you. So I will link all of that down below. Otherwise, if you're going through body changes or if you're pregnant or anything like that, going thrift shopping is definitely a very great sustainable way of working around that whole thing. I recently went shopping for my own secondhand web shop, and I've seen so much like baby clothes and maternity pants and things like that in the local thrift shops. So definitely check out those if you're going through any of those changes. Moving on to the first step, which is all about mending holes or even embracing holes in garments. So there are different ways you can handle like a hole in a t-shirt or a pair of jeans or pants or anything like that. You could either try to mend the hole so that it almost disappears, so like mending it by hand, or you could put on a batch, something similar like that, updating it, giving it a fun, quirky twist. Or another thing you could do is simply to embrace the fact that yes, this t-shirt might have a hole in it, or yes, these jeans now have a busted knee. Like I mentioned before, I like this very effortless, edgy kind of style, and for me it's all about balancing out items like these. So if I'm wearing a pair of very frayed or worn out pair of jeans, I will maybe put it together with a shirt like this one that I'm wearing today, or maybe just with a plain white t-shirt and something a bit more well cut like a blazer to kind of balance everything out but still keep that cool, effortless vibe. So in the styling sense, that's definitely how you can embrace things that are worn out like that. When it comes to t-shirts, it seems like there's almost this trend from fashion brands of even making t-shirts that look worn out, you know, just like with jeans and things like that. So you can buy t-shirts from a brand that are treated with some kind of wash to make it look more authentic, or maybe they even put holes into that t-shirt, like at the edges or anywhere else where you would naturally get holes when you've worn a favorite tee for many years. So if you have a hole in your t-shirt, maybe even make more little holes all throughout the t-shirt to make it look more cool, trendy, like it's supposed to be that way. That's definitely something that I see myself doing. Tip number 5 is something that I've also mentioned a couple of times before, and that's all about keeping your white garments white. If you asked me even like 4 years ago, I'd probably just say that you should just bleach them or buy something really harsh like Vanish or something in that area, but it's not very eco-friendly. So this time around, I'll definitely try out the more eco-friendly, more natural alternatives first. As a person who suffers from occasional social anxiety, and as a person who naturally sweats a lot, I am not ashamed to say that. I do sweat a lot, even right now, filming this, speaking to you guys. I do have rather sweaty armpits. And I have tried the natural deodorants before. I've tried crystals and I've tried cream-based deodorants, and nothing really seems to work for me and my sweat. I don't really know why, but if you suffer from any kind of social anxiety, I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. Walking around smelling like sweat just isn't that nice, and it's definitely something that doesn't make the whole situation any better. So to be honest with you guys, right now I'm actually back on the normal antiperspirants, which is part of a problem with the whole yellow pit stain thing. So it's kind of against my will that I've gone back to the normal antiperspirant, but I just haven't found the perfect natural one yet that won't let me down. I used to like the crystal ones, but then I used it through a couple of months and then all of a sudden it was like it didn't work anymore. So if you have any tips in that whole area, please let me know down below. Help your girl out here. Anyway, should the stain already be there on your favorite white t-shirt or shirt, anything, even, you know, yellow pit stains, or if you spilled something on the garment, then you can try mixing baking soda with water so that it creates kind of a paste, and then rub that into the garment and then wash it like you would normally. Sometimes you might even need to repeat that whole thing and then wash it again. And then another thing you could do is try making a mix of either vinegar and water and then placing your garments into that mixture, leaving it there for a couple of hours, or maybe hot water and lemon slices. That's also something that has a natural whitening effect on white garments. So there are definitely different things you can do to keep your white garments white, and I found an article on the whole subject that I'll link down below if you want to know more about the whole thing. But yeah, definitely my best tip is to be careful when you wear whites, because really you want to prevent the stains rather than treating them. So be careful, even though I know it can be hard. And this is coming from someone who spills a lot herself. Like, it's even in my yearbook, my classmates wrote that I always have a stain somewhere from like dinner the night before, or if I've eaten a piece of chocolate or something like that. So I definitely know how hard it can be. So tip number 6, also the final tip, is to turn a piece of clothing into something completely else. And I have here 2 examples of just that. So the first example is a denim skirt that many of you probably recognize. This used to be a pair of jeans that I didn't really use anymore that I then turned into a denim skirt. So this is a great example of reworking items in your wardrobe into something that you feel like you're missing or that you would probably get much more wear out of. The other item is, and please excuse the fact that it's very wrinkled right now, I literally just took it out of storage because it's a summer item and right now it's spring, so I can't really wear this right now. But this is a very cute summer like tie strap kind of top that used to be a vintage shirt. So this is a shirt that I picked up in a local thrift shop. Didn't really wear it, and then, you know, I was so inspired by all of these tie shoulder tops. I think it was last summer or maybe even the summer before. They were just everywhere, and I was like, do I have something in my wardrobe that I can turn into a cute top like that? And I did, and turned out so nice, and I cannot wait to get reunited with this through summer. I still absolutely love this top. Obviously, I know that you might not have the skills to do this, but maybe you have someone in your family or a good friend who loves doing that or who can teach you how to do it yourself, because I'm not a perfect seamstress either. I just know the basics and then I just kind of wing it, and mostly it turns out great. So there you have it, guys. That were my best 6 tips on how to save your clothes rather than throwing them out. If you have any other tips that you'd like to share with me, don't hesitate to write them down below. I'm sure that I've probably forgotten something, so maybe I will gather all of them up in a post very soon, maybe make it into like 10 tips or something like that. So if you have any more you want to share, write them down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would make me very happy. And yeah, then I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye guys.